Coming up next, Bookin It continues their discussion on To Kill a Mockingbird. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Bookin It. I am your humble and eloquent host, Cooper Cobbs, and over there we got Tanner Lewis, Isaiah Ritchie, and Matthew Killingsworth.
Howdy.
I'm in a good mood this record. I'm in a sing-songy mood. Yay.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Maybe we should cut that out because I sing really bad.
And now that you said we should cut it out, we're leaving it in because it's funny when you say that.
Anyways, fellas, it's great to be here today. We're recording the second of our episodes of To Kill a Mockingbird, arguably one of the greatest American books ever. And today,
pretty great.
Contradictory to popular major media right now.
Well, I don't know. I mean, most people still like To Kill a Mockingbird. Anyway, today we're talking about mainly the first half, if we can get through that. So, first off, what do you guys think about To Kill a Mockingbird? I don't think I ever asked that in last episode.
You did not. I personally liked To Kill a Mockingbird. I thought it was very informative. I loved the writing style, which you brought up last time, Cooper, but I was too enthralled in my passion for the love of truth to
yes.
Really care about the writing style.
That's a good quote, Tanner quote. I was too impassioned by the love of truth. Yes, that's funny.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
So I really love the writing style of To Kill a Mockingbird. You brought that up last time, and I agree. It is definitely not. You said it's not like C.S. Lewis or Tolkien's like fireside chats. It's more of like someone telling their story to help you not do something stupid in your future, right? Mm-hmm. Because we all have those moments where we do something stupid and then somebody walks up to us and then they do something stupid, and then when they see you about to do something stupid, go up and tell you the story of them doing basically the same stupid thing.
Let me tell you a long story about why you shouldn't do this.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It feels like one of those informative books or stories to help try and prove a point. You're trying to make like a moral to the story that's necessary.
Exactly.
I agree wholeheartedly with what Tanner just said. I think it also goes a lot deeper than just that, too. I think Harper Lee was very educated in the subjects that she involved in the book, and she really knew what she was talking about. You could tell just from the writing. She'd done her research, and I also think like it's probably something.
Lived it, Matthew. I mean,
yeah, that's what I was about to say. It's probably like something similar to how she grew up too, is like that. So she was just passing on the knowledge. I guess is like a similar to what Tanner said.
Yeah, I thought it was really good and cool how like throughout the book you learn lessons with the characters in it.
Yeah.
And you see how they grow in it and all that. That was really cool like that. And then like they were saying where you like it's her telling you what happened before.
Definitely. Yes.
Totally.
I was gonna say, so yeah, I think it's safe to say all of us probably our favorite genre is fantasy. Is it safe to say that?
I mean, my favorite book is not a fantasy novel, but I mean, I like fantasy a lot.
Right. So it's safe to say this is definitely not a fantasy novel. I think it's very safe to say that, oddly enough.
Totally.
And we all enjoyed it so much. So what do you think makes To Kill a Mockingbird such just a good book?
So it's obviously not in our like present time, and we're obviously not like in like their circumstances, but yet I feel like it's very relatable. Harper Lee uses a lot of really relatable subjects to like get people in and like compare what was happening in that time frame. Would you guys agree? Like she just does a really good job of like pulling you in and making you feel like it's like your story and you're telling this right? Because you're reading it in first person. So you're kind of seeing it from the light of the eyes of someone else. It's very relatable, and it really helps you. Like, I think that's what helps gets its point across. Like, because she compares it like unwittingly to things that we would compare it to in our own present day and age. That like she does it so, I wouldn't say like slyly, but she puts it in a way that you don't really notice, and you just kind of accept the fact that that's comparable to that fact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of the reasons I think it's such a great book is its strong grounding in morals. I mean, this book is definitely about some young kids who screw things up and notice the wrong in the world around them and come to realize that it's wrong and
learn about it. Yeah,
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But like Harper Lee always gives the characters in the book the benefit of the doubt. Like you're reading along, she's not telling you it's bad. She lets the characters discover for themselves that those are bad. And like Isaiah said, you're learning along with them, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's great writing.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go ahead and answer your question though about like us being big fantasy fans, why we liked this book so much or felt this book so much. I agree with what Tanner said about it being very relatable, but I also think when you're thinking about why it is we like fantasy so much or why really anyone likes fantasy is because you get to read and if you're reading a good author, be in a different world that you're not used to.
Exactly.
And this book is on Earth, it is in America, but it is such a different lifestyle and such a different world than what we live in now today. Obviously not a different planet, but just like really a different world in pretty much every way. And I'm not talking about like I'm enthralled by how, you know, Black people were treated back then. Of course I'm not. I don't like that. Yeah. But I'm just talking about the freedoms they had to just go outside, go, you know, shoot guns or just do whatever, play outside all day, not have to worry about, you know, anything happening to them because it was pretty safe there. You just like the fact
that it's not safe, but they didn't realize that, or they still did it too.
Yeah, right. But like they did a lot more stuff than like I feel like we're allowed. Kids today are allowed to do, just like. Which I'm not like getting onto parents today because obviously there are very different circumstances and things are a lot more risky today in a lot of different ways that I won't get into right now, obviously. But yeah, I just like that aspect of it, and it makes it's like, oh, that's so exciting. We get to just go build a tree house, like just do it. You know, like Dad doesn't care. Dad's working. We're just gonna go play all day. Like it's just yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be back by sundown. You know,
be back by sundown. Yet. So, next question: who is this Atticus? I mean, what does he want? Why is he even the hero of the story?
Yeah, he's the hero of the story. I mean, at least the hero of several of the stories in the story.
Yeah.
Well, he's such a good role model to him, and of course, he's an imperfect person, and you see some of his imperfection and like see a little bit into his mind at some point. You get to see like the struggles he's kind of personally facing about like raising kids. And but you see that like no matter if he knows what's right or if he doesn't know, then he's whatever it is, he's always trying to do what he thinks is best for his kids, and he's always thinking about them first. Really, to be honest, he's always thinking about everyone else before himself, which I love. That's the best part about him, in my opinion, is he is so selfless because he no matter what situation, if he's in the right or wrong, he always just stops right there and thinks about the exact moment and says, what is best for everyone else right now? And does that.
It's almost like Frozen 2, do the next right thing. Am I right?
Yeah.
Can't believe I put a Frozen 2 reference in our To Kill a Mockingbird episode.
Moving on.
Wait, I have something to say on that. You were saying like Atticus, like being the role model. Now, I said in the last episode pretty early on that my mom quoted To Kill a Mockingbird very often and that I never noticed. I will say that she said that all of those quotes were Atticus Finch quotes.
Yeah.
I will say that. Second of all, I definitely agree with Matthew. Atticus Finch is always thinking about other people before himself. That's part of the reason why he went to that trial. He said in the trial, oh, what was it? I'm not doing this trial the for the money that I'm gaining from this, for the fame,
Right.
nothing. I'm not doing this
Yeah,
for
for the
anything
attention.
other than the fact. He said that
This man is innocent. Yeah.
every attorney has his case that is his make or break, and that
Right,
he
right.
can't take it, that he has to take because of the morals that he puts around his. I'm paraphrasing here, but because of the
Yeah.
morals that he
Yeah.
has or that he values in his life, and I just really respect him for that fact that he has the guts to go take on like the heart of just hate and human sin nature right there, to just go in and do the right thing but do the hard thing at the same time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
mean,
definitely thought he was like the hero that he
Yeah.
was. I mean, like Matthew and Tanner both said, he's a role model, but not just for the people in the book, but for like everyone. He's completely selfless, doesn't care about anything that happens to him as long as he helps other people.
Yeah. Well, I guess not talk about too much. He's not perfect. He's far from
No, he's
it.
not.
I mean, like he lets, for heaven's sake, he lets his kids call him by his first name. Like, I don't know why. That seems completely
That's the one thing that
disrespectful to me.
bothers you.
No, I'm just saying. Like, there's also that really weird scene where like he sits separate from his kids in church. He does like
Mhm.
he's not a perfect father even, but overall definitely
No, but
one of the best
that's
written.
what I'm saying. He's not perfect, but he's trying to do his best, and he's always whatever he thinks is best for his family, he will do that thing. That's what I was
Mhm.
praising him about. I'm not saying that he's perfect.
Yeah, and his relatability is what help, and like because he's not perfect is what helps like the relatability of the story. If he was absolutely perfect, I think it would be hard for anyone to read this book and have the relatability, which I mentioned earlier, that like the relatability of this book if he was absolutely perfect. Of course, we're reading this from someone's like first person views, and what book was it? There was this book where, oh man, I forgot it's some book, but you remember, I don't know where I heard this. You always remember the good things or the bad things about a person, depending on what type of person they were. If they were a like Atticus Finch type person, then you would have then you'd only remember all of the good things about him, right?
Yeah.
And then
that's
if
fair
you
point.
had like not so good person like the what's them's names in the trial.
Yules.
Yeah. Like
Well, what was good about them?
yeah, that's what you'd have. Like you wouldn't remember anything good about them. You'd only remember all the
I don't
bad
think we
things that
heard
they
anything
do.
good about them.
Which is
Yeah.
why
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah. But which is why I'm thinking like when you think, because it's her thinking back on her father, right? I think looking back, she's only remembering all of the
I
good
see what you're
things
saying.
about him.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, Matthew was agreeing
that's a
with
great
Tanner
point.
before he even realized what he was saying.
Well, yeah.
That's okay. Tanner's saying. Okay. So, first question. What is the difference between fear and respect? And again, when I say fear, I mean like the fear we have for God, right? You know, stuff like that. What is the difference between that?
Well, really, I've always thought of the difference between fear and the fear that we have for God as being the difference between fear and respect, as in like being scared of something and respecting that something is infinitely more powerful than you. So, but between respect and fear of God, I'd say that fear of God is essentially respect. It's just like way bigger and like a way more like expanded version of that, I guess.
All right.
It's just like it's you recognizing you like being humble enough to recognize that you are like literally nothing compared to how big, how powerful, how great, how perfect God is, or until He makes you something, which He does choose to do. He saves us from our sins and sees us in His eyes as perfect.
So, first off, like I think you said this about a lot of books, but this book is literally just almost a new story every chapter.
Mhm.
I mean, did you guys like that? Did you not like it? Was it fun to read?
No, yeah, I liked it. I liked it about it. If it was just, I mean, it is obviously following the same characters and everything the whole time.
All right, so let's just toward this like school scene, the first school scene here. I thought this was a great picture of kind of what life was like back then.
Oh yeah, totally.
It was funny, um, you got the progressive liberal teacher here in the schoolroom, and you've got all the different kind of you got the people who can afford to go out to eat, and the person who is like the Yule kind of person,
Uh-huh.
kind of the scum of the earth, I guess you could say.
And then
But
and then there's like the people who they're very prideful family, and they never accept anything from anyone without paying them back and that type of stuff.
But I actually like the Cunninghams a lot. The Cunninghams, I don't know why it's one of my favorite parts about the book. Especially the scene where Scout brings Walter home.
Back home for
And
lunch. Yeah.
Yeah, and Ethan, I just thought that was great. And that scene
He eats
where
like a pig.
Atticus is about to get lynched by the mob and stuff like that. And Scout says, which is it's a really weird scene. It doesn't exactly work, but
I like it. I like that scene.
Yeah, the Cunningham part in that scene is pretty cool. But I always like, when Atticus says, "Trust me, we'll be paid," more full, and especially in the movie, I don't know who the guy is, but the guy who plays the older Cunningham, he had a great performance. I really liked his performance, and some of that maybe what's carrying my liking of the character. But anyway, so like we talked about the Radleys and Boo Radley and stuff like that. When do you think curiosity becomes wrong?
I mean, I think it's good to be curious. It just depends how far you take it once you're curious.
Yeah.
Like, you can be curious about
what
anything.
the line is.
Oh.
Like, what would you say is the line? Like, I think trespassing on someone else's property, just destroying their property, throwing, what do they throw, like a fishing rod into their house or something? I can't even remember.
Yeah.
Through the window to try and get him out of, like, if you're messing with him that much, I think that's over the line. But then again, they are just kids and they kind of got off easy for it.
Yeah, definitely. So I remember this scene very vividly, kind of where Jim's kind of, and also this book it's about Jim a lot too. It's about Scout kind of trying to imitate Jim and almost Jim become a man too. But one of my favorite scenes is where Jim is talking to Atticus, and Jim, realizes Atticus never whipped them or spanked them or something like that, and it meant so much to him that never happened. Why do you think that is?
Well, because he didn't want to get
nobody wants a spanking, Cooper.
Yeah.
No, but like that's not it though. That's not it. That's not just it. Not what Harper Lee meant, at least.
Why don't you answer your question for us?
I'll answer the question. Yeah. I think what Harper Lee is trying to tell us here is that Jim really appreciates it when his dad treats him like a man. Okay, men, they don't get whipped by their fathers, right? Look, every time Jim did something wrong, Atticus would just talk to him about it, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I know Jim really appreciated that just because he's treating him like a man, and stuff like that. Do you think that that's the better form of how to treat your children when they do something wrong?
I know. I don't have children, but I know I would appreciate that, like as a kid from my dad, if he treated me more like an adult, I guess, or like a man, which he has started. Like obviously, as I get older, he does that more and more. Not that I get in trouble all the time, I don't. But but yeah, no, I definitely see how he appreciates that, and I think that also just like is also just another way to parent like equally as successfully, if not more. Because like if he's being treated like a man and he sees his father is respecting him, then he's going to want to keep that respect. And he's going to want to think about his decisions before he makes a decision and make sure that he's making the right one just from his dad being so respectful to him.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean,
Whereas I don't know
Just the-
why, but it seems
sorry.
like kids, even if they get spanked all the time for doing stuff, they never seem to learn their lesson anyway. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
True.
It really depends on it. I know that the Bible says to spare the rod is to hate your child, and I guess it worked for Jim. That much is obvious, but I think it really depends.
Yeah, Jimba's. I mean, he's like a mini Atticus, though.
Yeah, it
Mhm.
worked.
it actually says that. I think that's a line in the book.
It is, but I think it worked for Jim. I don't know that every kid's different. I'll definitely say that. No
Mhm.
two people are entirely alike. But yeah, no two people are alike, and it really depends on who your kid is and how that works.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, because like some kids could, like what he did in the book, could respect that and try to keep that respect. But then other kids could be like, "Oh, he's not doing anything to me, so I can keep doing it, and I won't get punished."
Exactly. Right.
Mhm.
So it just depends, like Tanner said, on the kid and like how they take it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. This is kind of a great segue to our next kind of point of discussion. Here we kind of get into the part where Atticus is he's got word that he got the trial, right? And I think
Yeah.
I think it's several times, or maybe it's just once. He says, "I couldn't live with myself if I didn't do this," or "I couldn't
Several
tell."
times. Totally.
Yeah, I couldn't
he says
tell
that a lot of
Scout and
times.
Jim. I couldn't tell you guys what to do if I didn't take this case. What do you think that is?
Mhm. I don't think I ever fully understood that, but I know it reminds me of what Tanner was saying, like in the what Tanner was saying. Atticus said in the court earlier,
Mhm.
like about what did he exactly say, Tanner?
Yeah, what Cooper's quote is exactly what I was talking about. Like
Okay.
it really is.
I don't think he said that in the courtroom. Then he just
It
said
wasn't
that.
in the courtroom. I was just saying like he had said that. I didn't know when.
Yeah.
But I think that he couldn't ask them to do anything if he didn't do that, is because if he's breaking his own rules, why should he be giving them rules? Like
Hmm.
he's saying that he has no right, no privilege to tell them to do anything if he does not do this thing, which is obviously entirely like
Right.
necessary and right to.
Right, like
Which
it's the et tu
arguably,
fallacy.
yeah.
You know, it's if you didn't stand up when it was right, why should you be telling me to do that too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. And there's
I
a
mean,
line.
it makes it his logic does make sense, but at the same time, I've been trained my whole life to know that my parents have rights to tell me what to do, and it is my job to do
Right,
what
but
that
it's
regardless
I know, but
of what they do.
but they're
So,
saying he's saying
yeah.
he couldn't make himself do it, right? He's saying
Right.
that if I didn't stand up for
So
this
yeah, it's a
injustice,
personal
I couldn't
thing.
do it.
Then
Right. But also, I remember there's this quote. I think it's in one of the documents that we did this year for school, and it was about like if any man isn't capable of governing himself, why should he govern everyone else, right?
Mm-hmm.
hmm
And like when I think it's Atticus's sister asked him, "Why are you doing this? You don't have to do this." He's like, "No, I have to do that. You know, my whole life people have looked up to me as the guy who would do this, and now I have to prove, to do it." It's funny though, like even the people who didn't want him to do it still like elected him to the state legislature, which is kind of weird year after year. But it's just, it's cool to see this guy who really just risks everything to do the right thing. And if he didn't do that, honestly, it would probably just be, his life wouldn't be worth anything anymore, honestly.
Yeah. Okay. This is also a random like relation, but you just reminded me. We watched Spider-Man like what was it last week or a few weeks ago or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually a while ago. But anyways, we watched Spider-Man, and there's that one quote when, like, actually, no, this might be from Captain America Civil War, when Iron Man's talking to Spider-Man. He's like, why do you do what you do? And Spider-Man goes, when people have the right, or like have the ability to prevent bad things from happening and don't, then it's their fault.
Yeah.
Which is kind of similar to what you were just saying.
That reminds me of Mission Impossible too, right? That's eventually why.
Yeah.
We don't need to get into Mission Impossible, but anyway, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
But all right, well, I think that pretty much wraps up this episode. Do some donor shout outs. Hey, Isaiah, what would someone do if they wanted a donor shout out?
Well, they'd have to go to patreon.com/bookinit and choose any of our 5 tiers.
Actually, not anymore.
Sorry. Choose any of the tiers, $5 and up to get it.
That's right. Because we
now have an extra $2 tier, which enables you to all of our special Patreon posts. But I was going to say this on the podcast, because we do post a lot of things there that are for Patreons only, but we also post several things that the public can check out too.
That's right. We just released our book list for next year.
Right, our book list for the semester, and that's actually basically it.
Yeah, and also don't forget to support our brand new podcast, The Screening, coming out in February.
Yep.
Which, in fact, we are doing To Kill a Mockingbird, the movie, as our first review on that podcast.
That's right. All right, so I'm going to say the donor, and you guys say
how about this? You say one of our names, and then we'll say a donor.
Wow. I'm so impressed.
That's basically what Isaiah says every episode, just less creative, more creative. I mean, okay, here we go. Tanner, Nana.
Nana.
All right, Isaiah, Van Pappy and Wayla.
Thank you, Van Peppy and Wayla.
All right, Matthew, Isaiah's grandparents.
Thanks, Isaiah's grandparents.
All right, me, Becky. I love you, Becky. Not that way, but anyway. Tanner, Isaiah's Uncle Sebi.
Thank you, Sebi.
All right, Isaiah, your aunt and uncle.
Thank you, Uncle Sam and Jenny.
All right, Matthew, Isaiah's cousins.
Thanks, Moses and Zara.
And me, Christopher. Hey, guys, make sure you check out Chris's podcast, Like Lightning, all caps. He reads his Flash Fiction. Flash Fiction. It's
super short stories that
pretty
he has
hot.
written by himself.
Yeah.
Yep.
Make sure you go to patreon.com/bookinit. Donate there. Make sure you rate and review us if you can't do that. And until next time,
keep on booking it.